For all of you out there who were crying before the MotoGP season even started about how there's no overtaking in modern MotoGP and this era is just so boring, have you shut up yet? Have you apologized to us yet? Are you still out there complaining? Genuine question. I'd love to know. Because if you saw the Catalunya Grand Prix, you know there was plenty of overtaking in this race. There was overtaking mid-pack, there was people coming through the pack, and there was overtaking at the front. But before I get into everything that happened at the main race in Barcelona this weekend, if you could please subscribe, help us grow here on YouTube. And a fun little fact, I basically respond to every single comment. So come on, hit me with what you think. And now to the racing on Sunday, and we saw 4 riders get amazing starts. 2 KTMs, an Aprilia, and a Ducati all racing to the front into that first corner. Brad Binder got a great start, Aleix Espargaro got a great start, and it looked like Pedro Acosta was going to get the whole shot, but Pecco Bagnaia just was just that much better on the brakes. And it was Pecco Bagnaia and Pedro Acosta having the early pace. It looked like Brad Binder was just missing something. He was slipping back almost immediately, and it also looked like Aleix Espargaro wasn't quite as comfortable to go with those front guys. Unlike Saturday, in the main race on Sunday, we didn't see riders crashing out of the lead like fainting goats when a loud truck drives by. Early on, it looked like the only one who had the pace of the top 2 guys was Jorge Martin. He comes from 7th on the grid, he cuts through the pack, and he gets right up on the heels of the 2 leaders. And we know how much Jorge Martin loves to lead from the front, and he was going to get there as fast as he could. Before you think this is a Jorge Martin full send, doesn't care about his tires, no, he was managing the race as well. He just wanted to manage it from the front. Now, it looked like Pecco was okay with that strategy, letting him manage from the front, saying, I can do it a little better than you, and then I'll come at you later. And Pedro Acosta looked a little impatient to get by. He wanted to get out front, pull a gap, and then manage the race with a little bit of a lead. But before he could do so, he loses the front and goes in the gravel trap. He manages to get up quickly, remount, and he actually finishes this race in the points. It's pretty incredible. While Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin were setting the pace at the front, there was a shark coming in the name of Marc Marquez. Again, 14th on the grid at the start. By the end of the first lap, he's in 9th, and then he just started picking people off one by one. Yeah, there's no overtaking in MotoGP. None at all. Not to spoil the ending of it, but basically in the last 2 sprints and last 2 main races, including Barcelona, Marc Marquez has made up 45 places in 2 weekends. He works himself through Ralph Fernandez, who had a great race, Brad Binder, who was quickly fading, and he gets up on the butt of Aleix Espargaro and eases by. But Aleix Espargaro was not giving this podium up easily. I mean, he wanted this to be his special retirement weekend. He wins the sprint. He wanted to be on the podium at this home race, his last home race in Barcelona. But Marc Marquez's defense game was on point, and he goes into that last corner very defensive, doesn't leave Aleix any room. They drag it out to the line, and Marc Marquez ends up on the podium. Aleix has to settle for 4th. Back on the front, do you know who wasn't settling? Pecco Bagnaia. He was not settling for 2nd. He ran his race perfectly. He watched Jorge Martin, watched where he was strong, and when the time was right, he picks the turn 5 pass, the exact same corner he crashed out in the sprint. He passes Martin to take the lead and never looked back. Bike lengths immediately gapped him. And I said it during the live broadcast. I thought that Pecco was managing the race very smart, but so was Jorge Martin. But once Pecco made that pass, Jorge Martin just didn't have the rear tire to fight back. It was already gone. Pecco knew he had to be decisive, precise, and once he made the move, he had to make it stick because he was not going to get a second chance at this. Really smart race by Pecco, really mature race by Jorge Martin, and again, a phenomenal performance from Marc Marquez coming through the pack. Further back, Fabio Di Giannantonio pips Ralph Fernandez to get 5th. Fernandez still a pretty good ride in 6th. Alex Marquez settles for 7th, 8th is Brad Binder, and Fabio Quartararo finishes 9th in this race. Said it was very positive for Yamaha. They took some things, they learned some things. Not a bad weekend all in all. But who did have a bad race? Well, let's talk about Enea Bastianini, who's riding kind of mid-pack, not where we wanted to see the Factory Ducati. 9th, 10th, fighting with Alex Marquez. He gets pushed off the track. He gets a long lap penalty, decides, screw you, I don't like your long lap penalty. I'm not doing it. At the end of the race, he's handed a 32-second penalty. Finishes 18th, out of the points. And we roll right on to Mugello. There's a lot that's going to be happening, except for the thing that we all thought would be happening in Mugello was Ducati announcing their new lineup. It doesn't sound like they will be doing that. So that goes on another week.